So in terms of accuracy, forget about all the little dots. That's just birdshot. Right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hits. I only shot 12 at this target, but this is about a hand-sized target. This is also about 30 yards when we were shooting that target over there. So it's for speed drills, that's not terrible accuracy. There's a couple misses on there. It's definitely not perfect, but we'll do an actual accuracy test here because I'm kind of wanting to show that this rifle can be pretty accurate. It's finicky at times, but when you sort that stuff out, it actually is a pretty nice rifle. Yeah, I can't even, like, with my eyes, this is sighted in for, I think, like 50 yards. It's not zeroed by any means. It's still off. But I didn't mess around with it too much yet. If I get a magnifier in the future, obviously I'm going to probably sight this in for 100 yards just to have a more consistent shooting experience. But with what I'm doing here, the most that I'm shooting anyways is 80 yards. So it doesn't really matter, in my opinion, for my use. It's just for fun out here, you know what I mean? So just take into consideration that this is not zeroed. It's kind of sighted in, but it's not zeroed. Like I said, the reason for that is if I ever want to throw a magnifier on here, I will obviously make sure that it is more precise, but I can't even see that 4-inch target from here. My eyes are not the best, so this does its job for now. So as you can tell from the lighting, this is filmed on a different day. I had to come out because I wasn't happy with a part of the video and I wanted to kind of take it down and redo that part. But we did a little bit of an accuracy test. This is obviously not perfect. Just shooting off that barrel over there, you're kind of moving around a lot. So from 40 yards, it's not terrible groupings. These are about 4-inch targets, maybe 3-inch. The center should be about 1 inch though, but yeah, those are not terrible groupings. That one has a little bit of a flyer. This one's pretty tight, actually. So yeah. Like I said, it's hard to see these little targets from all the way back there with the optic that's on that thing anyways. So this is, I'm happy with that, you know, for what I use it for. If I throw a magnifier on it, I can actually try to redo an accuracy test and be able to see what I'm shooting at better. But it's fine for what it is for now. So I'm just gonna start with 4 clicks because it's 1 click per quarter MOA or whatever. And obviously we're not using MOA out here. We are way too close, and it's just that the situation is not professional. You know, it's not, I'm not very stable on that thing. I'm moving around all over the place. I'm really shaky today for some reason too. So it's just, it's not really worth it right now, at least, to use super specific terminology and whatnot. So yeah, I didn't really mention either. This sight on here is actually a Vortex Crossfire. It's fairly basic sight, but it really gets the job done. I like it. It's pretty durable. I've actually dropped this rifle and it landed pretty much right on the sight and it didn't affect it too much. Again, I can't speak if it like would have thrown it off zero or not because I didn't zero it. But yeah, I gotta do that. My collar is bothering me. Okay, there's just a few things about this rifle too that I would like to point out. Is if you are going to get this rifle and run it, it's going to need a few things. First of all, it's going to need some Loctite because pretty much all the bolts on this thing come loose when you're firing it or just using it. For example, the selector, this is it. It has to be cocked to adjust it, or it has to be cocked to use it. But yeah, so the selector on here, it has a little Allen key bolt, and I found that just from flipping this around, that actually came pretty loose. So what I did is I just took it out, threw some blue Loctite on it, and it's been fine since. I let it sit for 24 hours to really solidify and actually cure. But yeah, it's been fine ever since, so that's what that is. I am also going to get a adjustable gas valve for this thing because this thing is so overgassed, it's not even funny. I actually blew a hole right through my glove here, just on like the first like 5 or 10 shots or something. I was C-clamping. Now that's one thing, is I was C-clamping it all the way up, right by that gas port, so that you might be able to say that's kind of my fault, but I don't know. These are decent gloves. They're mechanics wears, so it shouldn't really have blown through it like that. But yeah, we got like a legitimate hole through that. So just keep that in mind if you are getting this rifle. It's going to need some modifications. Adjustable gas valve for one. You're going to want the brass bushing in there. You're going to want to pick up another piston. There's a lot of people that are having piston breakages, and Kodiak has been pretty good about that. Apparently they've been sending new pistons out. They've been sending them out, no questions asked. Sorry, I got a call. I had to take that call. So yeah, what I was trying to mention, there's a lot of stuff that comes loose on this rifle. For one, the stock gas valve here, you would shoot it 5-10 times and it would be like loose enough that you could move it, or you could loosen it or tighten it with your fingers. So if you don't have Loctite on there, keep in mind, bring a screwdriver or something to the range, because that's pretty rough. Again, I used blue Loctite, so I could still get it undone if I need to. Definitely stay away from red. That would not be good. It also happens on the stock too, actually. This stock comes loose. I haven't put any Loctite on it. I got to do that. I want to get a proper castle nut wrench, because I want to kind of tighten it down and make sure it's all good, right? So yeah, I flipped my bolt catch here around. It was actually down over here, which is not a terrible spot, but I felt a lot better up there. I felt like it was more in like an AR-15 area. Like it's a lot closer than all the way over here. It's just easier, right? I put the mag in, I hit it, and we're good to go. There's some people driving by right now. We'll wait a minute. Okay, so there's a few interruptions today. But that's fine. So far I have about 150 rounds through this rifle. I'm gonna be putting more in it today. I'm gonna probably get it up to 200 today. Good stuff. Move. Touch tree, move. Touch that target. Good stuff. Move. Watch your footing. Push and shoot while you're moving. Shoot while you move. Nice. Stop. Yeah. So I'm not really in a position to give like a proper review about this rifle yet. Maybe I'll do a 500 round or somewhere in there update, and we'll get that figured out. But I've been running this stuff, this PMC ammunition 5.56 M1. Where was it? M198. Yeah. So it's been running great. I haven't had one hiccup, like no stovepipes, no jams, no double feeds, anything like that. It's been running phenomenal, actually. But the way I'm running this right now is I have this like mock-up Magpul stock on here that actually came off a Canuck shotgun. I just feel it kind of makes it look a little nicer. We have a non-reciprocating charging handle here. That's obviously stock, but that's one of the differences from the Gen 1 to the Gen 2 is you have this nice non-reciprocating charging handle. I kind of wish that there was some sort of way to have like a folding one, because I find when you have it on a sling that it sticks out far enough that it kind of bothers you a little bit. So we're going to reset that. Not reset. We're going to bring that hammer forward here. I have a basic Magpul foregrip on here. This is all M-LOK, so I just threw a little M-LOK rail on there, an M-LOK QD for the sling. And yeah, it's a pretty basic setup right now, but we're gonna open this thing up because there's another complaint that a lot of people have, is there is a little bit of receiver wobble from the upper and the lower, and you can actually buy this thing. It's called like an accuracy loop or something. I'm gonna pick one of those up when I pick up an adjustable gas valve. But what I've just done for now is I've honestly just threw in a little bit of tape. It sounds sketchy, but it tightened it up to the point where it wasn't an issue. Yeah, I just threw a little bit of tape on this little not lug, I don't even know what you'd call it, and it just kind of makes it a tighter fit down into here. Another thing about this rifle is from my understanding, it runs a lot of AR-15 parts, trigger groups, everything. So if you are one of the dudes that has a bunch of AR-15s that you can no longer use right now in Canada, this is a nice alternative to keep using those parts. Obviously with Bill C-21, nothing is safe, and I'm not going to get all political here, but even this rifle is not safe, and that's something that you're going to need to keep in mind, because I did just pick this rifle up and they are trying to ban it, so keep that in mind if you are in the market for one of these. But yeah, we gotta have a little bit of hope, even when it's hard, right? I cannot speak for which magazines run well and don't run well, because right now I only have 2 here. So the one that came stock with the rifle is this Magpul PMag, and this one's pinned to 5 rounds, which sucks, but it is what it is. This magazine runs great. Again, like I said, no feeding issues. It's easy to insert, it's easy to do reloads, all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty solid mag. And then I picked up this cross mag. This is the Gen 2 because I do believe the Gen 1 has a lot of problems with these Gen 2 rifles. Cross mag, it's basically 2 pistol magazines bound together, so they can hold 10 rounds legally as of right now. Like I said, Bill C-21 is trying to change that. They're trying to make these illegal, so we'll see where that goes. Again, this magazine runs well. It never overseats, at least for me. Doesn't have any problems feeding, anything like that. So it's just super nice. You can get some real nice reload times with it, obviously, because you can fire off your 10 rounds, do a little flip, come back in here. Oh, what you call it? Dream whip on there. Do a little flip and come back in here. So yeah, it runs great. Honestly, I'm really enjoying this rifle. There's just a few complaints. Like I said, and they're not even really big complaints. It's just annoyances that can be changed by upgrading it a little bit. You don't want to be C-clamping it up by that gas valve. You are going to destroy your hand. It's a very flat shooting rifle because it is very forward heavy. Like the barrel is like most of the weight of the rifle. So in my opinion, it's nice because it does allow you to keep that rifle on target and bring it back down to target quicker, and it's just very flat shooting. I don't know. I'm really liking this thing. I'm hoping that it's gonna continue going well for me and whatnot, because like I said, there's a lot of people having issues with those pistons, but if I do have a piston breakage or if it bends or something goes wrong, I'm just gonna try to contact Kodiak and see what they'll do about it, because like I said, apparently they've been great. So if it's an issue that they're actively helping people out with, then it's not the worst thing in the world. Like, it's not a situation where they're at least abandoning their customers. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say here. It's super easy to open up, super easy to clean, super easy to operate. It's very, very reminiscent of an AR-15, at least in like operating. You got your mag release here, you got your selector here, your bolt catch. If you do flip it around like I did, bolt catch is almost in the same spot. This is not an AR-15. It's not even an AR-15 platform. It's actually an AR-180 platform, but it runs great, and this is the closest thing we can get right now, or the closest thing that we can use right now, because Canada is not a good place for law-abiding firearm owners right now. They're trying to take everything. It is what it is, I suppose, with not too many options. I mean, there is some other options out there. You know, you got like the Tavors and the BNTs and all of these really, really nice performing rifles that are also super expensive. This, in my opinion, is pretty overpriced. But without that super competitive market of having a bunch of AR-15s anymore, all that kind of stuff, I understand to a degree why it is so overpriced, if that makes sense, just because there isn't a lot of competition right now in this type of platform, at least. I mean, you have like MSR or MSC, whatever it is, I forget. You have the Raven rifles, Crusader arms, yeah. So, but they're all running on pretty much the same platform, at least from my understanding. Like I said, this is not a review, really. It's just kind of a overlook, and my experience with it so far, having just picked this thing up a few days ago. I don't know, I love this thing so far, and it's good. So for run and gun, again, this run and gun's not really about accuracy too much. Hear me out. We do have a few flyers here. We have one that hit the rim down here, one to the left up here, and then one to the right. Another one that hit the rim there, but most of the shots are within the target, so it's all right. Again, when I'm running around out of breath because I'm out of shape,
if you're not fit, you're gonna die.
I'm not worrying too much about accuracy. It's more about just kind of speed and trying to acquire the targets as quick as I can, instead of get good groups. We got the one target there, and one target over there. Yeah, so I don't know. It's all right. It's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it doesn't really need to be for what I use it for, at least.